You spent 40 years showing up, alarm clocks, commutes, meetings that should have been emails, paychecks every 2 weeks like clockwork. And then one Friday afternoon, it all stops. Monday morning rolls around, and for the first time in your adult life, nobody is waiting for you. No deadlines, no boss, no reason to put on real pants. And if you ask most Canadians what they expected retirement to feel like, they will tell you the same thing: freedom, peace, a long exhale after decades of pressure. But here is what almost nobody warns you about. The first 12 months of retirement are nothing like the brochure. They are messier, stranger, and far more emotional than anyone tells you at your farewell party. And the decisions you make during those 12 months, the financial ones and the personal ones, will shape the next 20 or 30 years of your life. So let's talk about what really happens. Because if you understand it before it hits you, you can sidestep mistakes that cost other retirees tens of thousands of dollars and a serious chunk of their happiness. The first thing that surprises most new retirees is the spending. Statistics Canada data shows that Canadians 65 and over are now spending around $78,000 a year on average, and a lot of that hits hard in the early years of retirement. There is a reason for it. You finally have time to travel, time to renovate the kitchen you have hated since 2008, time to take the grandkids to Disney, time to say yes to the trip your friends have been planning for years. Economists actually have a name for this. They call it the go-go phase of retirement, and it usually lasts somewhere between the first 5 and 10 years. The problem is, most Canadians budget for retirement like every year will look the same. They picture a flat line. In reality, year one often looks more like a spike. New furniture, a new vehicle because the commuter car finally died, a bucket list flight to somewhere warm in February. None of this is wrong. The danger is doing it without a plan, because every dollar you pull out of your RRSP or RRIF in the first year is a dollar that is not compounding for the next 25. A useful exercise in those first few months is to track every expense for 90 days, the way you tracked your hours at work. Most retirees are shocked to discover where the money actually goes. Groceries climb because you are home for every meal. Utility bills rise because the lights and the heat are on all day. Dining out creeps up because going for lunch becomes the social event of the week. None of these increases feel dramatic on their own, and added together, they can swallow several $100s a month without anyone noticing. Then there is the tax surprise. A lot of Canadians walk into retirement assuming their tax bill will shrink overnight. If you have a workplace pension, plus CPP, plus OAS, plus RRSP withdrawals, plus maybe a bit of rental income, you can end up in a higher tax bracket than you were in during your last working year. And here is the part that really stings. Once your net income crosses about $93,454, the Canada Revenue Agency starts taking back 15 cents of every dollar above that line, and the full clawback hits around $151,668 for most retirees aged 65 to 74. Imagine working your whole life, finally qualifying for old age security, and then watching the government claw a chunk of it back because your withdrawal strategy was not coordinated. This happens to Canadians every single year, and almost all of it is preventable with proper planning before you touch a single registered account. One of the most overlooked tools in the Canadian system is the TFSA. Money pulled from a TFSA does not count as taxable income, which means it does not push you into a higher bracket and it does not trigger OAS clawback. For retirees with a healthy TFSA balance, blending those withdrawals with RRIF income can keep your reported income low enough to protect every dollar of OAS you are entitled to. Speaking of CPP, this is where one of the biggest first-year mistakes happens. The default instinct is to take CPP the moment you turn 60 or 65. After all, you paid into it your whole career, so why wait? Here's the math that changes minds. If you delay CPP from 65 to 70, your monthly benefit increases by 42%, permanently for the rest of your life indexed to inflation. For a lot of healthy retirees with other income sources to bridge the gap, delaying CPP is one of the most powerful financial moves available in Canada. It is essentially a government-backed, inflation-protected raise that you cannot buy anywhere else. The catch is that the decision feels emotional, so most people grab it as soon as they can and leave a significant amount of guaranteed lifetime income on the table. The same logic applies to OAS, which can also be deferred up to age 70 for a 36% boost. If your family has a history of longevity and you have other savings to lean on in your 60s, running the numbers on deferral is one of the highest return decisions you will ever make. Now let's talk about something nobody puts in a retirement calculator: identity. For decades, when someone asked what you do, you had an answer: engineer, teacher, nurse, manager, business owner. That answer was not just a job, it was a story about who you are, what you contribute, and where you fit in the world. The day you retire, that story ends and a new one has not been written yet. Psychologists who study retirement transitions describe a pattern they see over and over. The first few weeks feel like a vacation. The next few months feel disorienting. And somewhere around month 4 or month 6, a lot of retirees hit a wall, an emotional one. They feel restless, a little invisible, sometimes even depressed, and they cannot quite explain why. This is normal. It is not a sign you made the wrong decision. It is the natural cost of unplugging from something that gave your week structure and your life meaning for 40 years. The retirees who handle it best are the ones who plan their time with the same seriousness they plan their money. They build a weekly rhythm. They commit to something: volunteering, a part-time project, a class, a sport, a side business, anything that gets them out of the house and around other humans on a regular schedule. Then there is the relationship part, and this one catches a lot of couples off guard. When two people who have spent decades seeing each other for a few hours in the evening suddenly share every meal, every coffee, every afternoon, friction shows up in places it never existed before. Therapists in Canada have noticed a real uptick in what some call gray divorce separations after age 50, and the first couple of years of retirement are often where the cracks start to show. The fix is not complicated, but it does require honesty. Talk about it before retirement. What does your ideal Tuesday look like? How much alone time do you each need? Whose friends are whose? Who is cooking? Couples who survive the transition will usually agree on a few simple ground rules early: separate mornings, shared afternoons, one night a week with their own friends, and a real conversation every Sunday about how the week ahead is going to look. And then there is the RRIF clock. By the end of the year you turn 71, you have to convert your RRSP into a RRIF or an annuity, and starting the following year, minimum withdrawals are mandatory. They started around 5.28% at age 71, climb to 5.40% at 72, and keep rising every year after that. The Canada Revenue Agency is going to get its tax revenue one way or another, and the longer you wait to plan, the less control you have over how. Smart Canadian retirees often start drawing down their RRSP earlier than required, in those lower income years between retirement and age 71, to flatten their lifetime tax bill and protect their OAS. So what should the first 12 months actually look like? 3 things matter most. First, build a written withdrawal plan before you touch a registered account, and run the tax numbers for every source of income side by side. Second, give yourself permission to spend on the things that matter: travel, family, experiences, while keeping a clear ceiling so you do not blow through your go-go years in 18 months. Third, treat the emotional side as seriously as the financial side. Build structure, connection, and purpose into your week from day one. Retirement is not the end of your story. It is the longest chapter you have ever written, and the first 12 months are where the pen hits the page. If this helped you see retirement a little more clearly, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. I'll see you there.